Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Blueprint Tycoon, where we are slowly expanding our production empire and welding cows together. Not sure how that works, but we'll see what else we can weld together as we get more research and get access to some more of these goods. So I believe what we have to do is add another 4 researchers so that we can research leather, and I assume at that point, once we have all of these technologies unlocked, we can research Tier 2. And Tier 2 is, I think, where that waste starts to come in, but I'm not 100% sure of that. It was in the tutorial, but things seem to be a little bit different in the tutorial. We didn't have access to all these other things to research, for one. Okay, so we have a new contract available to us for stone. Looks like we'll already be completing that sum. We have plenty of profit right now. Our net seems to be, seems like we're getting pretty close to our potential here. It's not telling us that we have missed revenue because every time that these guys go up, they can get goods. That will probably cease in a day or two because I'm willing to bet that this guy carrying stone can't keep up. But I could put the building a little bit closer and he'd have an easier time of it, but I suspect that we're slowly dropping in stone. Although, doesn't really look like it. So let's see if we can't just reduce this a little bit and shift over so that we complete this contract a little bit sooner. Let's make sure we have a decent income before they switch over to carrying the stone for the mission, but that way we just go ahead and complete that mission in a couple days. So we can go colonize another island. I think what we'll probably want to do is we'll probably want to go ahead and be able to research this leather first. That way we can see the resources that are on those other islands. It doesn't really do us any good to go over to the other islands if we haven't researched the buildings to be able to see what we can get on those islands. Because so far, when you go to build a wood harvester, you can see there's this highlighting going on, and that's not just where you can build, that's where has this resource. And so now we haven't colonized these, so maybe it's not showing us, but it could very well be that these other islands don't have wood. Or potentially, maybe we'll go to iron ore and, well, okay, again, we have on our main island, we have all of these. But maybe we go over here and we have access to, what are some other researches? Copper. Maybe we have to go over here for copper. And I want to have access to as many of the goods as I can before I go do that, so that I have an idea of what I might be building on that island, so that I don't have to completely tear down my research structure, or sorry, my production chains and rebuild them. So let's go ahead and get the next researcher hut here so that we can get access to leather, because we have to have 10 researchers to be able to research that. So let's go ahead and put this here. I don't know whether our workers will be able to keep up. We generate 3.8 meat per day. This may mean we start falling behind. You'll notice that we only have 17 here. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Although, again, this is like a health bar. It will slowly start dropping, and it's going to tell you over here if you aren't meeting the needs of your people. So we'll have plenty of opportunity to address that. And part of the inefficiency here is this guy right here, the time it takes him to deliver this good. You'll notice we already have 5 meat waiting. We're full all the time. It's just taking him so long to get over here that we are wasting time and efficiency here. Let's go ahead and get some blues. Okay, so what those little tokens, you've seen me generating them, and I can generate them from my main hut here. And what those are once we research Tier 2 here, we will be able to go to a building, say, let's just say this wood production building, and potentially upgrade it. We can upgrade the root, and we might be able to upgrade the building itself. And I suspect that's one of those areas where we're going to have to start paying attention to the blueprints and the buildings, because we're going to be able to optimize them as we level them up. I suspect. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so we have enough people now. We should be able to get this leather research. While that's going on, I'll go ahead and colonize this island over here as it has requested that we do. To do that, it's going to cost 5 upgrade tokens, and that's no problem at all. The game's been giving them to us for free, and we can craft them for any time, at any time for 9 wood, which is incredibly easy to do. And we'll actually do that here in a little bit so that I can show you how to get goods to your main building so that it can produce things without building more of these little huts to send goods there. You can actually pull things out of storage using these hot air balloons. So let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and construct a port over here, and we'll be able to set up shipping routes between these ports if we want to. It says set up a ship with a trading route. There's nothing currently over here, so what can we build? We don't have coal over here. We don't have iron. We don't have cattle. We don't have stone. We don't have vegetables. And we don't have wood. So there's no point, but we'll go ahead and do that. We'll create a new route for this ship. We'll tell him to transfer goods from there to here, and we'll tell him to move, I don't know, wood. New route. And he's going to go ahead and do that, and I don't know if this costs us anything or not to do this, but obviously he's not going to have any success in that because there's no goods over on that island. Maybe I should have picked a different island, I don't know. Okay, so now we have to complete the stone mission contract. That's going to happen in 3 days, so while that is going on, let's go ahead and set up our production chain over to our main building, just like I was talking about. You'll notice that we have these production queues here, and at any time we can produce a hot air balloon, we can produce a ship, or we can produce some of these upgrade tokens. And obviously you can see that some of these upgrade tokens are fantastically expensive. So let's set up a balloon first. I believe I'm going to have to manually get goods here initially just to get this balloon, I think. Yeah, I think I am. And once you have the balloon, then you can use it to set up routes, but we don't actually have the resources necessary to build the balloon to get the resources to build the balloons. So just on the temporary side, I'm going to I'm just going to establish this road here, I think, and I might be able to set up a route like that. No. How do I get things in here? I'm not sure. Have I blocked the main entrance to this building? No, it doesn't have an input. How do I get them there? Can I build it somewhere else? I'm trying to remember how they did this in the tutorial. I feel like they just had the resources there. Sorry, I'm genuinely puzzled here. I'm not sure how to do this, but fortunately we have plenty of money at the moment, so I have plenty of time to figure this out. But I'm not sure... Can I borrow one of them? I'm not sure how to get goods to this. I'm not sure how to deliver goods. This is a little bit awkward. Bear with me. I'm gonna take a little bit of time to figure this out. Okay, I'm not sure I've figured it out. I figured out something. I thought back and I remembered in the tutorial that when you build something from the main building, you get these like quadcopters that go out to a storage that has the item that they want and bring it back. And that's not happening when I try to build one of these. I'm not sure what... Oh, that's coal! Oh, okay, you guys have probably been telling me I'm stupid. That's not stone. That icon there is coal. This game needs tooltips. Really bad. So they can't find the resources that they need, so they don't go out and get them. Okay, so this green token only requires wood. If I click on it, you'll see these little drones go out and they'll go get the wood and bring it back. Why there's not a road, I'm not 100% sure, but it's not that big of a deal. It just wasn't clear that that was coal instead of stone. It makes sense, you can't build a balloon with stone, but it just didn't click. Sorry. Our next objective is to research Tier 2, and we also have a new mission contract. We need wood planks. This is not just wood, this is wood planks. So I think to do that, we're going to have to get Tier 2. So can we do that? Research Tier 2? Oh, apparently we never actually got the leather because I forgot to set up this route again. That's really annoying that that route seems to be continually disappearing. However, while we're waiting for that, I did find out we can actually do something that I was not aware of. We can actually change the number of workers assigned to any route. This is really, really potentially useful. It doesn't seem like we can do that with the delivery. It seems like we can anywhere else, though. We can change the number of workers that are working anything. So, for instance, from the stone to the storage, that might be a good one to raise, because we're running out of stone, and we obviously have plenty here that we can continue to add in. Although doing this obviously increases the cost associated with that good, if you will, simply because you're allocating more workers that you have to pay to something that, in theory, you shouldn't need multiple workers for. We'll also think about adding in, if this number starts dropping in the market, adding in additional workers to carry from the meat factory to the market. But we now have, I think we almost have leather, at which point we can research tier 2. Sorry about that. It just, I don't see why the route from the vial production to the lab disappears every time. I think it's because the blueprint disappears in the lab, so there's no, it has no input that is now needed, and so the route just disappears. There's no input that's even registered for it. And as soon as we pick another research, then there is an input for the building, and so the route stays intact. But we need yet more researchers. I didn't realize we needed this many. So let's go ahead and just build a road here, and we'll build another house right here. And again, we'll have to watch that food count. We don't want that dropping too low. But we now have enough researchers that we should be able to get tier 2. We'll start that up, and this time I will remember to reestablish our route. It now takes 10, so we're going to have to wait a little while for that research. But okay, now we can check out and see if anywhere can get leather. Oh no, it's a crafter. Interesting. We can actually craft leather. Well, there's no real need to at the moment because that's not available in our contract list. So we'd be generating something that we can't sell. But it's worth remembering that we can do that because we have excess cattle at the moment. Way more than the meat factory ever needs. The meat factory is only using, I believe, at optimal conditions, 7 per day because it takes 2 cows to weld together into one piece of meat. And we're producing 12 here, so we have excess. Let's go ahead and set up some coal, because coal is worth a lot of money, and also I believe we might have to add it to construction, because I think some of these buildings may start requiring some additional resources. But let's go ahead and set it up here. If we need to, then we can set up a balloon to bring coal over from our storage into our construction, which it will only do when we actually use it from the construction. So it'll take some, and then it won't take any more, and it will fill back up in storage and go out to the delivery. So let's go ahead and just get some coal. Again, our main island seems very resource rich. We'll just create it right here, set up our little road right here, and a route. As soon as the building is done. I think I can do it before the building is done. Okay, so he should start generating some coal. Let's take a look at the blueprint and see if this is anything we can optimize. We have 3 workers, and what are they doing here? I think what's happening is green is producing the good, blue is picking it up and launching it over here, and then yellow is grabbing it and depositing it. Pretty clever. I don't know that we can improve that. We might be able to, but it seems fine for now, especially since we aren't actually dropping any of those off. Wow. 760. Let's go ahead and drop off some coal. Let's bring down the wood a little bit and increase our coal. We are producing, I think, 7 per day, it said. But we aren't really going to hit optimal conditions, so let's go ahead and drop that a little bit to make sure that we're not... we're wasting any time here. We can actually check that over here. Each day this bar will reset with your deliverables for the day, and it will then down here and up here you will see how long your workers are waiting. You'll see a little counter that goes up, and eventually it'll reach 100, and at that point, yeah, here you see it. And at 100 they will give up and just leave for the day. He didn't actually go up to 100 because it was the end of the day, but he would have otherwise. And if you're getting money for that, you'll also see a report at the end of the day how much money you missed. You missed it as an opportunity because your workers were waiting for being able to fulfill a contract. Okay, now we can research additional things. We can go ahead and get wood planks because we have a quest for that. And go ahead and set up our research chain again, and let's review what happened. We got tier 2. We now can have engineers, which I assume is for the next tech tier. We can now research iron ingots. And it's telling us that we can allocate a few more people per day. However, we have tons of income right now, so we don't need to do that. I can just go ahead and do that, and then once I research that structure, what are we researching at the moment? Wood planks. We need blue vials. Aha! Here we go. Okay, so to get blue vials, I need to go here and see what that takes. It looks like it takes iron ingots and coal to generate a blue vial. Now we have some coal over here, and we aren't taking that much. So let's consider just plopping that right here. Oh, we need iron ingots to place it. So I need to gather some iron ore, which I don't know if that's giving me ingots or whether I have to process the ingots. I do. Okay, so I'm going to have to harvest the ore, process it into ingots, so that I can add it to my construction, so that I can build the building that will allow me to get blue vials, which I can then use to get wood planks to satisfy my quest. You follow all this? Is this game getting deep? Okay, so let's see where we have iron ore. Again, we have it everywhere. Again, there's no point in building this over here. So, iron ingots. You know, this storage is great. We may want to build another storage for housing our goods and then only move the finished goods here to the storage. Because while in tier 1 we could just move the raw resources to storage and send them out to delivery, I have a feeling here that, yeah, once we move into Tech 2, we're really not going to be able to do that probably. We're going to have to send processed goods to the delivery. So I don't know that it makes all that much sense to place my resource gathering over here, feed it all into the storage and try to manage all that stuff and cram it all in together when I'm just then going to have to take those goods and move them over to construction or to our main facility. So I think I'm actually going to build another storage. Again, there's no real cost in this. It's just 10 wood and that's essentially free. It is going to cost 5 people to keep this thing running, and I only have 10 left before I'll have to start building more housing, but you know, I'm okay with that. Let's go ahead and build that right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move some raw resources into that and then move those raw resources out to the processors. So let's get some iron ore pumping into that. I'm just going to put that up here, build a road down there. And then what else are we going to need? We're going to need some additional coal. I'll go ahead and build another one. So we'll set up both of these. We'll set up routes to bring these goods to storage. And not enough workers. Okay, we need another house before we can do that. So let's bring in more worker housing over here. And set up a little road here. Okay, so now we can bring in coal into this storage. And at this point, I think I can go ahead and build our hot air balloon, and I want that. So the drones are going to go get those resources. Coal is we now have available to us, so we can actually build that. So now we need to start looking at the crafters. Yes, we can sell leather, I believe. No, we can't sell leather yet, so I still don't see any reason to create that. We could create meals, which I'm guessing our engineers need. We'll need to be aware of that. Which is going to be our first waste-producing building, I think. Nope, our iron ingots are. So let's go ahead and get our iron ingots here. We're going to put that, we're going to tuck it down here. And build a road here. We're just going to let them walk for now instead of using that balloon. And then we'll bring a road across like that. Bring goods from that building to that building, and then from this building to that building. However, we do need to think about getting rid of our waste. So to get rid of the waste, I'm going to put it right in here, but it's going to take more workers. This game is rapidly accelerating its complexity. If you thought it was simple in episode 1, you're seeing that this game seems to get rapidly more complex, and I'm a little bit concerned because there's 2 more tech tiers to go through. So this stands to get significantly more complicated before we get done with it. So let's go ahead and build that structure here. I'll need to bring my road up around behind. We're going to lose a square there, but nothing that can be done about that. Okay. So now if I look at my routes, I have bringing in iron ore, taking out iron ingots, and taking waste to the waste disposal system. I really don't want waste in my storage bin, so I'm actually going to set up another route to get rid of it. Yes, that's a little bit unoptimized, and I may be able to get rid of it. It may have been they were just doing that because they didn't have a waste disposal place to take it to. In fact, why don't we try getting rid of that route and seeing if that's the case. Storage to waste disposal, get rid of it. And we'll see if we ever get any more waste over here. Hopefully we don't. So now we're producing some steel, iron ingots, and this is where I'm actually going to use this airship to move iron ingots from there to our port, and I'm going to move iron ingots. And then I am going to create a route from there to there, which will then move the iron ingots into our construction. Okay, he's going to move a little bit slowly, but what that's going to have the effect of is over time, we're going to be moving iron ingots out of this storage and into our construction line so that we can then use it in construction. And hopefully he stops doing that after a while. We need to watch this guy because I don't know how much you can store in your port, and I don't want him moving all of the iron ingots because I want some of those to be able to go out to satisfy these other contracts. Now, I don't need to worry about that too much at the moment because our net income is still plenty to cover our expenses, but we need to keep an eye on that because as we build these more expensive buildings, we're definitely going to start needing to fulfill these higher priced contracts, simply because that's the only way we're going to be able to meet our needs. We can also upgrade our delivery, which I believe is going to increase the number of workers here and increase the number of goods that we can move out. We can also increase the storage, which I believe will raise the 20 good limit that we currently have here. I believe what's going to happen is once we get 30 iron ingots over here, this guy's going to stop carrying them, and then the port will fill up, and then the balloon will stop carrying them, and at that point, then we can start shipping them out. But we need to be aware that anytime we build a building that's going to require iron ingots, we're going to have this drain on our production chain. One other thing to consider is if this waste disposal does fill up, then what we will have is a safety net because we'll have these workers that will also carry the waste to the storage. Okay, in addition to this, we now have enough iron ingots that now we can build the... what was it? This building? Was that the building we wanted? I don't even remember now. Okay, we got the iron, we smelted it, we got the iron ingots, we moved them over to construction. I think so. I think that was all to get this blue vial building. You don't actually need the iron ingots for the blue vials, but you do need the iron ingots to build the building to get the blue vials. So let's modify this a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this building right here. We're just going to destroy that. That way I can connect a road straight across. And that way I can go ahead and build the building to produce the blue vials over here and take it into the input into the lab. Otherwise I had no way of getting there except going around or something like that. So let's get rid of these buildings here. I need to replace the wood, which is what I got rid of. And I can just do that quite easily here by adding in a wood harvester. And now I can build my blue vial production facility and output right onto this road once I have enough workers. Build more worker housing. We're probably going to need to consider where we're going to put the engineers. I don't know, maybe we'll put the engineers over here. I haven't even started to think about how we're going to make the food necessary for that. But let's get the blue vials. I wonder if for the research we're going to need the engineers. You know, we probably will. So let's go ahead and get this road system connected up. And this needs iron ingots and coal. Both of these are available in spades over there. So we're going to get a guy moving those along, and then we're going to move blue vials to the lab, where the lab is now working on wood planks, which once we build the wood planks, then we can actually manufacture those, ship them off over here, take them to the delivery so we can complete our quest. Whew. We're getting there, folks, but this game got more complex in a hurry. Alright. We have a quest to actually upgrade the delivery to tier 2. Sure. Let's see what that does. Once again, we need more people. Can I increase these housing? Yes, I can. I think that's something that we want to do. I wasn't aware of that, but we can use our tokens to increase our houses. Probably increases their food consumption, but also increases the amount of workers they can hold. So we'll also need to watch this food. With all these workers, we're probably starting to introduce a significant drain on our vegetables. You know what? Why don't we actually take this route here and we'll add another worker to it. That way we keep up with the draining of our vegetables. And we probably can maybe do that maybe one more time before we start running out of vegetables. Looks like this is the actual outputs per day. Oh, this is fantastic. Okay, so this is the theoretical maximum. And that is assuming that they don't have to walk to the market, but you can always add in more workers to start getting closer and closer and closer to that theoretical maximum. And here is how much you're actually sending out per day. So I know I have plenty of headroom here. I can assign more workers to this route, and I will be able to keep up with the demand. Looks like also, despite the fact that it looks like this is very full, we have tons of room left on that waste production facility. We have blue vials going to the lab, right? Right? I have 0. Why do I have 0? I don't know. I don't know why my lab is getting 0 progress done on research. I have blue vials available, I have red vials available, I have routes to take both of those to the lab. So the lab needs a blueprint. Ah, okay. We'll just go ahead and accept the default because I don't need that in a hurry. Interesting, but in the future we may have to do that ourselves. And it looks like that what we were talking about before, why we had to keep reestablishing the route, is each time the lab throws away the blueprint it has, and you need to assign another one. Because it depends on what type of research it's doing as to what its inputs and outputs are. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the quest. We'll upgrade our delivery to tier 2, which we have all of the things that we need. We have the upgrade tokens, we also have wood, and we have enough workers. Bam. So, I don't know exactly what that does. I really don't know. One thing that also needs to be mentioned is you get a bonus if you have variety in the goods that you're delivering, which these missions do count. So for each good that you're delivering, I mean, if you had one of each, you would actually theoretically have a very good multiplier. And I think this is increasing the cost of each of these goods. And you'll see that the iron ingots, they used to be worth 800. Now they're worth more because we have more goods types being delivered. Of course, I also like that we're getting that bonus even though we're not actually delivering wood planks. What happens if I go ahead and accept the iron ingots and I don't know, vegetables, even though I'm not actually sending those. In fact, we're going to drop these all the way to the bottom because I don't want them to waste time on these. I'm just using them to get our multiplier up. Cool. Seems rather exploitative, but then again, we're exploiting all of our workers anyway, so why not? Alright folks, I think that's where we're going to call it for this episode. We've obviously seen the game increase in complexity, and when we come back we'll keep going. Hopefully we'll continue to be able to expand. We'll be able to start using our second island over here, which we took, and we still have no idea what we can get over here. What resources, maybe this is just a manufactory. There's no resources here. We can just start shipping all of our goods over here to manufacture them as we run out of room. Maybe I'll just move all the workers over here. All their houses are over here, they'll all work over here, and they won't be able to go home. Who knows? We'll see next time. See you then, folks.